Everybody, it's the Cryptid Huntress. I'm Jessica Jones. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I hope y'all are having a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. We have quite the show for you guys today. Barry Littleton is here in the studio with me. Y'all know we always have a good time when Barry's here. And we have so much to discuss today. Gosh, Barry sent me some links to some videos that I've been watching over the past week. And we're going to be talking about reptilian bloodlines, giant snakes, the Titanoboa, and giants. This is one that I'm going to be discussing today. I just saw some videos of some modern day huge giants that they're recruiting to play basketball in Dubai. Y'all, it is wild. And I don't know if y'all remember me telling y'all, but I have definitely met Shaquille O'Neal in person. I literally ran into him one time. And these giant basketball players are way bigger than he is. And Shaq's a big dude. Okay. But anyways, we're going to get into giants today a little bit, and we're going to talk about the human antenna. This is a controversial subject, but it is real. And we're going to get into that today. Are you guys emitting frequencies? I don't know. Some of you probably are. And so, yes, what does that mean? I don't know. We're going to talk to Barry about it today. And yeah, it's going to be wild. Okay, so if you guys would like to follow along with all of my shows and stuff, please go over to my website. That's thecryptidhuntress.com. I want to thank everybody who has been purchasing things out of my shop this holiday season. You guys are so sweet. I appreciate y'all so much. And you can find my shop link over there. If you'd like to check out the goods, I have posted lots of new stuff in my shop. Go over to War Woman Goods. It's on Etsy. And hit the shop link on my website. And you can find some goods over there if you're looking for a unique gift for the holidays. Okay. And also, I have a Patreon. If you guys would like to check out the remote viewing data for all of these remote viewing shows that we do, that is over on patreon.com/the Cryptid Huntress. Okay. So, there's that. Okay. Well, also, I do have my calendar of events and everything that's over on my website. I had my buddy Terry ask me if I was going to be doing any live events coming up, and I told him yes. They're all on my website. Now, actually, I sent him the information, actually, but it is all on my website, y'all. Okay. So, okay. Thank you to all my moderators, and thank you to all the Hunt Club members who are here in the chat today. You guys are the best. Okay. Well, let's get to it. I know I was a few minutes late, y'all. Me and Barry were having a deep conversation before the show. So on this episode, Barry Littleton, ancient reptilian bloodlines, giant Titanoboas, and snake reports, and the recent unveiling of modern-day giant humans in Dubai, the human antenna, and is this the beginning of the transhumanist agenda? It's not the beginning, y'all. We've been talking about this for a while. So, of course, we have Barry Littleton here in the studio today. Barry has his own YouTube channel. It is called Barry Littleton, as well as a Patreon. Just look up Barry Littleton. And yes, Barry is a cutting-edge researcher. Y'all know he's one of my sidekicks over here, and today he's my roll dog. Welcome to the show, Mr. Barry Littleton.
Oh, hey, sorry. Had to fix the signal here, make sure that there's no interference. You know what I mean?
What just happened? Did I just get mind wiped?
What's happening? Hello, my
Hey,
friend. I
Barry.
gotta tell you. Okay, so you caught me by surprise. I didn't think that you would want to do a show over one of these particular topics, and you just caught me off guard because I know it's very controversial, and I've seen some things, but what spoke to you is that you and I float on the same level in some ways. Is that we like data, and that part of science is good when you get hard data. And that video I've sent you, the human antenna, and I posted it in the chat. In fact, I'll do it again right now. Just this is so easy. Just press paste. Finally, I could do these small things. I've come a long way, Joe. Anyway, it's verifying scientifically the stuff I've been talking about for a long time, and it's strange because I've wondered first of all, just keeping it real, and I always keep you out of things like this, and you stay out of stuff like that, but you know that we both have people who don't like us. I have a few people that don't like me. Okay, and
what?
And they purposely were trying to put a wedge between me and the SSP people, and saying, "Oh, you have a problem with SSP people, and it doesn't matter what you think because nobody talks about you." You know, this is 90210, man. I mean, it's like you remember the 90210. David Silver had that friend after the first season that smoked himself on accident because he wasn't cool like Dylan McKay, Luke Perry, and Brandon. You know, that's the whole deal. So I guess I'm not very cool. So I better want to do myself in. I'm just kidding, but no. But seriously, but they were trying to throw a wedge between me and those people. And then they tried to discredit my work without knowing what any of it was. And when I've reached out to some of those people, and the reason is for that video right there, okay?
Oh, okay.
When we start dealing with, I've talked about for a long time, the hacking of the brain, okay? The non-linear junction detection scans, you see all that on there, which is basically the thing that used to be used to sweep the room for wires. And here's the deal. This is important to mention, I think, okay? Because we're like this cool, all right? The second conference we attended together in Grafton, I kept wondering, and it was a Journey to Truth conference, and I kept wondering, real cool, I kept wondering, why did Creator have me there? You know what I mean? And because the different experiences, I have nothing against SSP, but I've always wondered why it's so different than a lot of contact like I have, and a lot more of the majority of us like me have. Why is it so different? Why is it so fantastical? You know what I'm saying? It's already all contact is weird. But I want to know why. And then at that conference is where I met my first in-person truly targeted people. I met one, I think that might be in the group of Phoenix. She's probably in there. I think she's one too. I take that back. I met her first, but she didn't call it that. But the ones we met in Grafton definitely called it that. Targeted individuals. And that's where I met Desiree Folu, who's part of Mind Nexus.
Yeah. I met her
Yeah, she's in the background. She's not kind of up front. I don't think she likes speaking like we do. But I mean, I stood in that, and everybody said, at that conference, you and Jessica were hanging out all the time. You were hanging out with me all the time. You didn't go to those after parties. And that's where I got to talking to her 2 hours in that kitchen. She told me her whole story. And then she showed me non-linear detection scans she had done at some university. And it showed all these parts that were emitting different frequencies, these radio frequencies and UHF and other things that her body should not be emitting. Okay, and she told me her whole story. And that gave me even more to start researching. And without never dropping no names, but keeping it somewhat exciting, there was someone during the time we were talking towards the end of it that was right near that claims to be one of those, an SSP survivor person. And they started yelling at her, saying, because she was saying that I'm part of some mind-to-mind, brain-to-computer interface thing with these biosensors and these assembled technology they put inside me. And then they start yelling, "You understand? I was at the bottom of the earth. I was." They're like going off, man. You know, the Spider-Man, all that type of stuff. And she's kind of just standing there, not really saying, "Hey, that." She said, "I can't speak for your experience. What happened to me is not real. It's a simulation, and it's been proven. I can prove it by what I have." And it ended with her saying, "Maybe you should get a scan," and that's it. So my Nexus, why I'm promoting this, my Nexus does scanning clinics now around the country, and they're about to go global, where people can get these scans. And everybody, a few hundred, where they're expensive a little bit. That if I thought I was activated, I would want that to happen. And what that video shows, sorry man, I'm way too hype on this. I'm gonna shut up. What that video shows is that almost all of us, even people in rural communities that have had no exposure to normal foods, organic foods, and not in city limits at all, they still have a little bit, but not concentrated. And how we have this nanotechnology, this self-assembling biosensors, the self-assembling semiconductors, okay, that are actually, and nanodots and all those things that are actually concentrated in areas that they find on those scans are the nasal cavities, the ears, okay? That accounts for a lot of the Havana syndrome, okay? And voice to God technology. In the abdomen area, and I think some portion of the legs. They've got it all diagrammed, or the cluster areas. All right, so my thing is this. That is used to actually activate people having targeted dream incubation experiences from the distance. Okay, that's dream engineering. And you see,
it's kind of like the dream world or the mall world that we talked about on Monday.
Yeah. Right? That's a big one there. I was listening to that whole fascinating. Shout out to Gerald and Jane. They do
What's up, Gerald and Jane? Thank y'all for being in here today.
But that, and I've had clients that the regression work is fascinating. And when I've worked with somebody that is like an SSP person or something, and it's interesting when they don't call it or know about that. Okay, but they're saying, but there's another me. There's this other me that's doing all this stuff. And that's the way Desiree said it too. I mean, she's looking at me. She said, I've done it all, man. I've flown ships. I've built laser technology. I've been around the hybrid. She said, I've done it all. She said, but that stuff is not real. It's something they're doing to me. They're influencing. And she had tests showing nano dust in her vents. She had all that documented. You know what I mean? That's where it goes into play for me. And I want, there's, all that stuff, how they're exposing people to that. And let's just tie that over, Jessica, into, and I've done stuff about all this on my channel. I've talked about Morgellons and all that. Morgellons. And when you start looking at that film, you see how Morgellons is tied in there. Those fibers that it's making, that is connecting, that's that self-assembling technology. I urge people to look up Hydra vulgaris. Hydra vulgaris, Vulgaris. Look that up and look at how it looks like the thing from the Matrix almost. It's self-assembling organic.
Oh, gosh.
And it also looks like the things I've seen on people astrally and energetically. Okay, so I mean, it's just stuff like this we need to be aware of, and where these dark forces are coming. These are things that they've been doing. They've been using voices against us, voices that sound like our own and not our own thoughts. And now they just crossed that over into technology V2K, making it 20 times worse with the micro audio spotlight.
Wow.
Anyway, I'm just saying
that's wow. It's affecting all of us, though. It really is, because I mean, the people who have taken the inoculations, the ouchies and stuff, they say that had. I know it's like I'm trying not to say the words.
I know.
Okay, but the ouchies. And that, and also whatever they're spraying in the skies with those trails, you know what I mean? The cloud trails. Okay. We don't know what's in those. In those trails years ago, when I say that, it's over 10 years ago and something. I saw Dr. Delbert Blair, the late, much power. He was talking about, he had some analysis of I guess, can we say that word? The what?
Chemtrails.
I just said the cloud trails, but it doesn't matter. At this point, it doesn't matter.
I don't want you to get banned like I did. Yeah. My views went down from like 8,000 to like 500, man. I was like, either the content really sucks, it might, or I got something such an algorithm. Anyway, okay, so within those trails, the analysis that Dr. Blair had was, in addition, let's just throw in that movie, you remember, What in the World Are They Spraying? Remember that?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. I
yeah.
watched. Yes, of course, I
They,
watched
they,
that.
yeah, on that one, they focused a lot on the barium
And
and
aluminum.
magnesium and
Oh,
aluminum that was being
mhm.
found in it. But the results that Dr. Blair had these other things in it. Oh gosh, here goes my pronunciation. I'm gonna get dogged.
Okay.
Phenomenal Kakakis meningitis.
Ooh,
They also had pseudomodium something. Gosh, they had manure in there, cow manure.
manure.
Yes,
Well, they're just spraying poop on us.
non-human T cells. Okay, nanodots.
Wait, this
And
is what's in those cloud, the trails up there in the sky.
these are the analysis that Dr. Blair had. And
So they're
Jessica, to
spraying
this
poop on
day, I
us.
can't find that video
Great.
with Dr. Blair talking about that. It was a whole lecture he gave over what was in there, and it went into Morgellons also. And I know that what in the world they're spraying, I think, addresses Morgellons also. So these are little videos that should be on like every school shelf, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, so it comes down to this: since we're all infected with it through the food, through the spray, through nano dust, whatever, it's a matter of who's turned on. This technology is turned on, and who is not. And what they're saying in that video is, when we go to 5G, they're going to try to turn everybody on, or 6G. Now, taking that and being the weird brother that I am, on my channel, I had done a regression some time ago, a few years ago, with the individual who's rather known in these communities. I just don't mention their name, but they said I could make the video and stuff. So I think they'll fess up. They're real cool. But anyway, this regression, it's called the gray overlay. And this is one of these individuals. When I met this individual, Jessica, they looked like a hybrid if I ever seen it. Okay. But they're one of those people that come up to me, I haven't had experiences like you, but I like this and that. And they worked, they do advanced shamanic work. And they used to tell me, they did really good work. I actually did a session with them. I won't let anybody work on me hardly.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was in person. And it was at the SETI Ranch, actually. And they started telling me, I feel like I'm blocked. Like I can't access my guides and do the stuff that other people can do. So they were worried to work with me in that way, that I might detect that or something. But it didn't matter. They did very good. But I wondered why. And it's always those people that say they've not had experiences that have immense Artron energy coming off of them. All right. And they wanted to do a session, and it was over Earthbound Spirit release. So we get done with that. And look, sue me. They're already under. So in trance. So I went ahead and started asking and start doing a regression, see if they were a contactee. And this stuff comes up quickly that there's part of a project, a hybrid type project from these beings that are from the end of the galaxy, way away.
Wow.
Okay. And there's only 4 or 5 of them on Earth that have this genetic that's been inbred. And they're trying to do some sort of a project, like a connection. But then the 5G, what are we on now? 4G?
We're on 5. We're already on 5. We're gonna crank it up to 6 probably.
We're
I
on
guess.
5. Yeah, we're on 5. Yeah. Sorry, I can't keep up.
Yeah. It's 5.
Like Ice Cube, 5,000 G. Anyway.
Wait, I think I was gonna bring up. Was it Ice Cube? Was it Ice T or Ice Cube? Which one did you say?
Ice Cube. Ice Cube was
5,000.
5,000.
Ice Cube was in that Anaconda movie we're gonna bring up today.
But then Ice Cube was already acting. He got his head on New Jack City, his first acting gig. He tore it up. He did a good job.
Yeah.
Anyway, but back to this being, okay. And it's interesting because these beings are being described, okay, and during the regression, and then it comes to this. These beings say this. No, there's a huge problem with the 4G is what they said. The one before we're at now messed everything up, and it was suppressing what they were trying to do. And they had said this. Those beings said they were not coming back here. They didn't want to have nothing to do with this place at all. Never.
Lock the doors, kids.
Oh yeah. That is too messed up here with all the frequencies and things going on. And I called that video the gray overlay because I connected it with what you and I have talked about before, which is the masseuse that saw the gray coming out, and then the occipital, and then like the cell phone made the sound and it went back in. It was like a holographic deal that ties us into the quantum hologram. I think it ties us into that thing we saw on that plane, the Russian deal. Yeah, I mean, all this is just stuff that ties together there, and that's why. And I reach out, okay, quickly before I shut my mouth, is that everybody that's had those experiences like that, and especially if they were in service of our service programs, the militant ones, okay, they need to go get scanned to see how much of this neuroprogramming they've been induced to. And when I talked before about, and everybody needs to look that up, digital twin cyborgs, and look up the way they can transfer conscious memories into digital twins and digital twin cyborgs. It's not just me talking. They can do that. And when you have people saying that there's another me doing this, or my alters, 21 and back, that's for these digital twins so they can go terraform Mars and whatever else they're doing, some type of enslavement. And this has come up again in our work. I had to face that. You know what I mean? I couldn't just get away with Barry doesn't like it, so let's act like that's not there. You brought up slavery several times when we do galactic targets, especially TRAPPIST-1. That's when I bit too much of that apple. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, that was rough.
But it is what it is. So I mean, and I'm saying this and so hyped because this is an attempt. What we're talking about right now, for people to get their own cognitive rights, for neurocognitive law to begin in our society, okay, for us to go organic and not artificial. And this is the way we stop from being enslaved and we turn into a type 1 civilization. And we're right at that brink right now. And that's what we're seeing, some type of an artificial intelligence enslavement. Seriously.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Okay, so I'm gonna talk about two things. Okay, one is going to lead into the next, because you're talking about like the quantum computers and the digital twins and stuff. Well, I was actually going to cover this today, and then something told me like we had too many other things to talk about, so I figured I'd put this on the back burner. But let's just bring it up now. I found some information on a quantum mirror. Okay, a quantum mirror out of Japan. Like, I don't know if the Japanese are doing this study. I believe it's out of Japan, if I'm not mistaken. And you can actually look into this mirror. It sounds almost like something they would have used for Project Pegasus, where they look into different timelines. But you can see yourself when you look into this mirror in different versions of you. Like it's like you're looking through the multiverse and all the different versions of you. And this is something that I don't think it's on the market where you can buy this thing, but scientists in Japan. I thought that was interesting, Barry. And
that's real interesting. You know,
sorry, I think my mic is unplugged. Yeah, but it makes me wonder, like, okay, so if they've got this quantum computer, why are they putting that out to the public right now? Like, what would be the point? Like, you've had it forever, probably.
You know, when you even look at the type of time technology, like, for example, the patents that are available and the ones that even were offered by David Lewis Anderson, that's been years ago now. He disappeared as far as I know. But when you start looking at the patents there and start applying the quantum computer to them, it really changes things. You know, and it's fascinating because I have one of these people that comes out of kind of nowhere and contacts me, and you don't know a lot about them, kind of the phantom email type, you know how that works. But anyway, they were saying that they worked on like Fortune, what is it? Was it Fortune 5? Is that the company? Fortune 5, Fortune 4?
Fortune 500? I don't know. I have no idea.
Something like that. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I need to pick up the business journal again.
Right.
Leave the omnis alone. Anyway, but it was they said they did computer systems for those firms and those businesses, and they had asked me. They said, Barry, do you know what a quantum computer really looks like? And I kind of thought I did, but I'm automatically thinking of something that's either like the Whopper from the War Games movie or something like that. I don't know what I was thinking, something different. And so I looked it up. They sent some pictures too. And Jessica was absolutely shocked when I saw how much, especially the IBM one, looks like on Doctor Who, the TARDIS, the time and relative dimensions in space he travels in, has this console. In the middle of this console has this thing called a time rotator. And that quantum computer looks like one of that upside down. And I was just really shocked by that. Wow. And they start putting some of the things that I've heard about some of the quantum computing that they're doing with the time technology, it's pretty scary. And we start tying that into what would be like Project Looking Glass. But I've had experience when I was on board this craft, and I'm looking down, like I can see everything. Like when it's not a metal, dude goes like this, and the metal, it turns like it's a see-through thing. You can see down too. And I'm sure that that's like basically the same technology they would use that's a chronovisor in back engineered. You know what I mean? But that's a perfect way for time travelers to really observe events from one of these craft.
Whoa.
Sorry.
That's fascinating. That's fascinating. Well, I just thought it was interesting that I stumbled across that information about this quantum mirror they've got out there, because I mean, as many shows as where we have talked about Project Pegasus, Project Looking Glass. I had Frank Jacobs on my show about 2 years ago, I think, over on Spaced Out Radio, and he's out of Germany, and his big thing that he was talking about back then and even today is the Project Looking Glass. And I think it was on a Sunday night right before they turned CERN on the next day. They were supposed to fire up CERN the next day. So we're talking about timeline shifts and all that kind of stuff. So I thought that was just really interesting. Now, I was going to kind of bridge. Oh, hear me? I'm sorry. My cord keeps coming out of my microphone. Okay,
something worth mentioning real quick is how often, with even out the quantum component, how much portals and mirrors are all the way. We've talked about that before, how much. And when we start dealing with the beings, when we start dealing with awareness, which were beings of awareness, and those beings that are from what's called the levels of fluidity, and these are levels of awareness, okay? And there's ways, like I did a video over ways you can use a mirror to actually create a portal in a small stream. It's have to be a running stream, but you anchor it down, but you have to put your own personal energy into it, and it creates a portal. And something else, like when you see, and these are techniques that are used to project consciousness for those of us that are into that. And there was, when you see something shining like on water, the reflection of like the sun or something, real bright light on a lake or something, that spot. If you can learn your gazing techniques, looking techniques, looking methods, and then you use that upon that shiny, you can transport them consciously, perceptually, awareness-wise.
Wow.
So these are things, the techniques of us, because this is a conscious event. So just want to tie that in, but that ties into mirrors and how those reflective surfaces things tend to be portals and access points for us.
Oh yeah.
You feel me?
Yes. Well, okay. So this is going to be really interesting, what I'm about to say. Okay, because I wanted to cover some reptilian bloodline, ancient reptilian bloodlines. Now this is connected to these mirrors. I know this is going to sound wild, but stick with me on this. Okay. So Japan's imperial family. Okay. They have a reptilian bloodline, and it is documented. Okay. And part of they actually, to this day, the family has artifacts that were gifted to them throughout the generations by their reptilian ancestors. And one of them includes a mirror, a magic mirror or a scrying mirror. I believe it was made out of obsidian. And we're going to get in. Let me get into all of this right now. Okay. And I think this is wild how this is kind of melding together, and it just kind of was able to bridge into this conversation.
Is that the mirror that people look at and see a reptilian? Is that one where they look at themselves and they see themselves as a reptilian?
No, I don't know. It could be. They could say reptilians. I have no idea. I didn't see I couldn't figure out what they were looking at, like when they see it. Let me read this. Okay. And actually, before we do this, I'm going to pull this up for the audience. Let me share my screen right quick. And we're going to pull up the Japanese royal family tree. Okay. And just in case anybody's interested to see this. This is the Japanese royal family tree, the lineage of the Japanese imperial family. And let's see. Well, it's saying that it's showing that, but it's not. Can you guys see that? Okay, sorry. My computer's kind of slow, y'all. Okay, let me scroll down a little bit. Okay, so this is actually the family. It goes back over, how far does the Japanese royal family go? Over 2,600 years. This makes it the oldest monarchy in the world. Well, let's see here. Okay, so Japan's oldest text openly record a reptilian bloodline linked to non-human reptilian beings, the oldest monarchy on Earth. Okay, they trace this bloodline to Toyota. Now, I'm going to slaughter these words, y'all. Toyota Monami, the daughter of Ryojin, the Dragon King, who lived in a vast undersea palace, Barry. A vast undersea palace. And the Kujoki, a text containing Japan's imperial family's official divine genealogy, and the Nihon Soki, a text including heavenly descendants of the imperial ancestors, described him as a shape-shifting reptilian being who could appear human when needed. The imperial family even has relics today that were given to the royal family from the reptilian race, such as a mirror. The mirror, said to be an ancient device, was used to communicate with deities. Okay, similar to the obsidian scrying mirror that used to contact angelic beings. The sword, taken by the storm deity Suzaion, who defeated the eight-headed serpent Hiroki, who was guarding it. Some say, this is actually kind of fun. Some say this sword actually was very much like He-Man's sword, the plasma sword.
was that the power sword? See, I get confused. You had
I don't know the name of it.
You had He-Man and his sword. When I was a kid, you had Thundar the Barbarian. He had the Sun Sword. You had Black Star.
Yeah.
He had some sort of power star, and then the other sword is like the Star Sword that the bad guy had, but they together made the Power Star Sword. All that stuff. That's interesting. Or we could just go down to Excalibur, was supposed to be the most powerful of them all. Or maybe the Sword of Odin from the Thundercats, the Eye of Thundera. I always thought that was fascinating as a kid.
Thundercats.
I like the Eye of Thundera.
Thundercats.
The whole concept.
Apparently,
fan.
apparently, the reptilian, ancestors of this imperial family gifted them. I mean, they came out of their sea palace underwater. Like, we've talked about this before, like undersea biodomes, and maybe outer space is in the ocean. I don't know, but it's a deep rabbit hole here. Okay, it's pretty deep rabbit hole.
I'm being urged to say something here, okay? And sometimes I'll get pushed by spirit. They keep wanting me to reference, there's that painting, and out of the ocean came that lady who looked Japanese, and she had the wooden box, or the black box that she wouldn't let go of. Remember that?
Ooh, no, I don't.
That's one of the great tales. Yeah, she's the lady that came out of the ship, from the ocean. And when you start getting the kind of craft that was associated with hers, and others that I can tell you from my own personal experiences, is start looking at some of those sea creatures, some of those urchins that could possibly be organic craft from somewhere else. When you start dealing with organic craft from another planet that might be, Aquarius, marine, you start dealing with that possibly, something you can kind of incorporate in there. You know what I mean? So look at some of those urchins that actually look like similar to I won't mispronounce the word, the Indian Venema, those craft. Look at how they're illustrated. Then look at some of those urchins. They look quite similar when you want to take things into organic craft and compare that with that woman that came out of the sea. And always the stories about there being these seafaring cities. And I mentioned it before on your show, probably too often, that one of the cut scenes from maybe the movie Splash, at the very end, you know how she always told him, you can breathe as long as you're with me. So he can obviously just breathe all of a sudden. Let's never mind that. At the end, end, she takes him to a city. It's in a bubble. She's taking him towards it. And
okay. I got to know. You finish. You finish. There's something else that I found. There's some kind of pill, some kind of nanotechnology, and some kind of pill form that people can take now to breathe underwater. because it makes it where you don't have to breathe it. It does something to all your cells, your blood. I don't know what it does. I can't remember, but I remember reading this the other day and I was like, damn, that's wild. But that kind of explains what you're talking about with Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah at the end of that movie, where he can swim under the water without having to, it's like he's a merman or something. I don't know.
You remember Dr. Cornblue? What are you gonna do? Get her wet.
Context, Barry. We need context for that. They're mermaids, y'all.
No, it was so she had fins. Legs. Get her legs wet for fins.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
for entertainment purposes only.
But that's actually, I think I'd heard something about that, and it was somewhere along the lines. There's a technology that, like, I don't know what it's called, but it's this breathing apparatus thing that, Montel Williams, he's got that real bad MS, right? I think he's at MS.
Yeah.
He has this device that he was promoting that he gets in the water and he swims with it. It's like so often every day, and how it relieves the horrible pain he said he's in every day. And that, I was aware of that device because it was connected to rejuvenation and healing of brain injury, TBI patients, brain injury people. I was looking at all that during the time I was recovering. You know what I mean? So that's something that's caught my attention. But I remember that kind of being announced in this pill, being said something about that with that technology kind of. I remember hearing something about it. That's interesting. Yeah, so sort of a pill that was sort of mutating people or something weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's some kind of nanotechnology that gets into your bloodstream or something. I don't know. Listen, I can't speak on it because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but I can tell you that I did read an article about it. And if I can find it, I'll post it after the show today. I'll put it down in the comments. Okay.
You're not old enough, but I bet you there's somebody in the audience. Well, you might be. There's only a few years before us, but it's pushing it. Anybody? Well, you might. Do you remember a cartoon called Manta and Moray?
Manta and Moray. Yes, I do actually. I didn't watch. I do know what you're talking about, though.
I advise anybody go back and check Manta out and what Manta actually was supposed to be, and then check out what they're representing in that cartoon as what would technically be Atlanteans. He wasn't an Atlantean. He was different, but it's these sea creatures. I mean, I think there's a lot more things that, and Moray had an unreal ability to stay underwater for a long time. Just food for thought. That's always using references. So see, you caught me off guard. You actually knew that cartoon. I'm shocked.
Yeah. Princess.
In fact, people can look that up on YouTube. There's probably only like 7 or 8 episodes, but it's on YouTube.
Corey says that you were talking about Princess Whitesnake. I think that's who you were talking about earlier, is what he said. So
who's that?
That was about 5 minutes ago. I'm way behind on comments. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was earlier.
White Snake, I don't believe.
Yes, there's a band called Whitesnake. I know that. Okay,
not into it. Not into Rob Zombie, babe.
It was a hair band. Okay, it was big hair bands back in the day. Somebody said something about sea monkeys a while ago. Who in the chat had sea monkeys? I had sea monkeys. I still don't know what those were.
Brine shrimp. They're called brine shrimp. BRINE shrimp. Yeah. Sea monkeys. Yeah. Wow, that's taking it back. I used to order stuff like that. The X-ray glasses. I was sure I was going to see through these women's clothes. I couldn't see nothing, man. That didn't work. It'd be like Smallville when he first had his X-ray vision. He's going like that, looking through the locker room, like that. I was disappointed. It did not work.
Oh gosh!
Big old circle around you put them on, you can't see nothing. Your eyes go black. It's a blackout when you put those things on.
Oh my god! Oh my god, Barry. Okay. Oh, okay. So there's one more thing that the reptilian ancestors gifted this imperial family, and one was called I think I pronounce it like this: the Magatama. The Magatama, I think is how you say that. And they say that this is actually a dragon's eye. It was a jewel. I think it was like a green jewel. And this is what it kind of looks like. I don't know if this is probably not the exact one by any means. But I did look this up. Let's see, the Magatama dragon eye. And so let me just pull up. It says the Magatama are curved comma-shaped beads that appeared in prehistoric Japan from the final Jomon period through the Kofun period, 1000 BCE to the 6th century. The beads described as jewels were made of stone and earthen materials in the early period, but were made almost exclusively of jade. Okay, so let me pull up some images.
Really? Made of jade, huh?
Made of jade, but they say that actually, you know how we talk about these petrified giants, right, Barry?
Mm-hmm.
We talk about petrified giants, about how they used to be, biological, but then they've turned geological, I guess, right? And actually, what was gifted to this family is an actual dragon's eye. Okay, but it looks like this. So they use jade to kind of, to represent the dragon's eye. This is what they use now, but originally it was an actual dragon's eye. Okay, and that's something that these reptilian ancestors had they've passed down from them in this imperial family. So I don't know. I think it's kind of cool because it looks like a yin yang symbol. You know what I mean? If you put one beside the other, that's what yin yang is, right, Barry?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that represents two dragon's eyes, and I just never knew that until maybe now, if that's what that is. But I just thought that was interesting. Okay, so I'm sure people in the chat know a lot more about this than I do. But that was one of the three things that they gifted that family to pass down.
A couple reasons I find that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
One is I don't know why, it just brings to mind Romancing the Stone. Remember the Elcor zone they're after? that jewel. Yeah. Anyway, when dealing with the fact that is jade, I find that interesting. Jade is a highly active stone. And I say that because, Jessica, have you ever come in contact with a truly active crystal skull? One that might not be a forgery or a fake?
I don't know. No.
Really alive? Okay.
I don't think so. I don't know.
I've been around literally hundreds in my life, hundreds of good fakes. And you get energy off some of them, might be a little stimulating, a little soothing, like you get off some stones a little bit more, but they're mostly man-made. Okay. I do believe that I've been gifted, I've got like 7 crystal skulls. I never bought one of them. It's really a trip. One's like this one with these from Australia with the toupee,
that's
like
pretty.
a Burt Reynolds type thing. Very protective. This thing is very protective. Phantom quartz. Anyway, I've been around one that is, I believe, ancient, and its name was Osh, O-S-H, and some call it Osh of Ashram. And these individuals, they were collectors out of Arkansas that traveled around. And the gentleman, Dennis, he passed away. So, but they had just dozens of really nice, like dolphin skulls, really nice ones. But none of them were active like this Osh. This Osh, it was different when I touched it. Okay, It had these symbols of it. When I touch it, I was saying, because I think Dennis is really trying to sell me one of those other little replicas he probably had over there, which I was not going to buy. I'm not an easy sell. But when I touched this Osh, he's telling me saying Osh was found in the tomb of a warlord, like a Tibetan warlord or something he had said. And all of a sudden I touched this thing and it starts coming through so clearly. Okay, when I say telethought, that I couldn't hear what Dennis was saying anymore. And then it starts giving me visions. It's saying, he's wrong. I'm not from there. I'm from Africa. Look at my jawbones. Look at my nose. And I'm not made of what he's telling you either. And then it starts showing me Earth before the continents were split and things. What is it? A different water? It was a trip. This thing was undoubtedly highly, highly active. It was dominant over all those others. Okay. To a point of where when they were out of town, they went back to wherever they were from. This thing was still communicating with me. And I'm looking at Dennis, and while this is going on, Jessica, I'm tripping, man. He's going like this. It looks like he's talking like that. This thing is completely wiping anything. I've never been one like that. And Osh could be lifted, and you could put a skull like the one I just had. I charged that one or this one, and put Osh down under the jaw, and he charged other skulls.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so when they talk about, I always heard there were 52 ancient ones in the book that I had, and I think that's one of them. Okay, we talk about these computers, and a friend of mine, I had her go look at it, and she's an expert in mineral and gem, and she said that's African jade. That thing is made of African jade. Just sorry, that was a long story, but I think it's important when dealing with objects like that and the communication. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm one outside of that wasn't fully into the crystal skull legend, but I mean, just didn't buy it all. But after encountering Ash, amongst all these other great replicas, that was that active telepathically and telethought.
Whoa! There's a picture of you with a bunch of crystal skulls. Is that Ash that you're holding, or you have your hand on it?
Yes, that's Ash. Yeah. Good call. I forgot about that. Yeah, good call. Yeah.
I know. I've used that picture from when we did shows together. When I used to put everybody's pictures on Spaced Out Radio on my thumbnails. Yeah. I remember that picture. I use it all the time.
If you look at the ones that are near him, all those are really nice skulls. Okay. One of them is called Gaia, and Gaia looks quite similar to Ash. Little darker, but quite similar. Mm-hmm. That one was kind of active too, but not like Ash, not like that. I mean, to the kind of thing where you sit over there thinking, man, I don't care what it is. That paranormal, spiritual stuff happens to me. Just happened my whole life. I'm blown away every time like I'm brand new. I was sitting up here like, man, okay, I'm not losing my mind, am I? This thing is blowing me away over here. It's kind of like when I got the elder communication from whatever that thing was pretending to be a Sasquatch, or I think it was. I can't prove that. But that stuff was it was almost as strong as the ET telethought I've got on that level. Oh, yeah. And I'm wondering at what point it is that we get back to doing that as a species. Because, I did, you helped me again save my melanin dominant ASS by helping me get back on that live. That was a hard one. I did it over, yeah. But, it was over things that were, sorry, you just wanted my mind what I was saying, man.
I got you back in on the StreamYard.
Yeah. I'm sorry where I was going
on
with
your
that.
Show, probably.
I'm sorry. What was I saying just before that? Sorry, it was concerning the skulls or. Sorry.
I don't know. You're probably going to bridge into the last show you did about the extraterrestrials, probably.
Oh yeah. Never mind. Forget it, man. It's gone.
I know. It happens to me all the time.
No, I've been too hyped to talking too much on this show. Anyway. I have, and I think who I was mentioning is in the chat now. Ascent Phoenix. They can say some stories that are very much something that someone targeted has endured and have been through. And, and I get worried about that a lot of people are getting experimented on right now. It's not fair. It's not cool. There's a whole nother thing going on. Mm-hmm. Crystalline. Oh yeah, it was something about crystals. What was Ash? Oh. Gaia and the skulls near Ash. Ash was the dominant one, but Gaia looked quite similar. And there was another one called a dolphin skull. That one was kind of active. It looked like one of the elongated deal. And when it starts getting into those ones, maybe check out the dolphin skull. And the dolphin skulls that are behind one named Madre, Madre. And I had gotten one of those ones I had kept screaming Madre. So the communication that some of those things can do is quite interesting. It's something, food for thought again, But
I find it interesting that it zoned you into, it was like tunnel vision between you and that crystal skull, and there are people talking around you and you couldn't hear them. It's almost like it took all of your attention and all of your focus directly to it, and everything else, it's just like you were in a tunnel, basically. Mm-hmm. Nothing else mattered.
Wow. When I got this one, this was given to me by a collector. This is the first one. It's citrine. It was given to me by a collector that I've known since I was a teenager. And I walk into her store, and I actually went in there to get a telepathic rock, which was called something for this damn time device I have here. This thing, okay, and this HDR unit. It's got this thing right here that it's called the Witness Well, I swear it looks like something that you develop film in to me. But never mind that. It's a radionics device. But I went to get a telepathic rock to put in here and do the radionics with it. Okay, I was experimenting with this a lot. And I walk in, she's sitting there. She's passed now, too. And she says, she said, I've known her for years. She says, Barry, do you know something about crystal skulls? I said, well, I've always kind of been down with Shah Ra, but never really seen one. And she looks at me, Shah Ra. I said, that's the real little one that came out of Nigeria, I think, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
And she looking at me, goes, well, that settles that. I'm like, what? She goes back in her back room back there. She comes back with this thing in a case. And she said, I got this from another really well-known collector. And he gave it to me, and I knew it was for somebody else. It told me when the owner came into the shop that it would tell me. And she said, it's you. It's been here a year waiting for you. And she gave that thing to me. It's just a tree, and it will help you with some of the negative stuff that you might be getting. And it was just a trip. It's the first one. And she said, it'll tell you its name and everything. And I was like, okay, you're going new age freak on me. I can't, yeah, sure, Sandra. Love you, though. Thanks for the skull that I took off, A few weeks later, I sat
That's
on
a nice skull.
It's real nice. It's
beautiful.
Thank you. I sat on the shelf, and it was just sat there. And then it started communicating with me about 2 weeks in. And it got real weird. All that stuff kind of just went from there. Other people started gifting me these skulls. And weird stuff.
Have a skull, too. Somebody gave me Joe Anderton. I think is how you say his name. Either Anderson or Anderson. We met at you and I met at the Full Disclosure Now, not Full Disclosure, the Camp Disclosure in North Georgia. I think it's Joe Anderton, gave me a yellow skull, a yellow crystal skull, and I have it. It's actually in my drawer right over there.
Was it the nice guy with the black hair, kind of little guy?
He had white hair. Yeah, white hair.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Super nice fellow.
Don Juan. There you go, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's a nice guy.
He gave me a crystal skull, though, and I love that thing. I need to make some
it
jewelry out of it. I have to go grab it. It's just little. It's like a little one, but it's packs a punch. So yeah, that's pretty fantastic, though. And so here's another thing. You mentioned Nigeria. You said something about Nigerian. I don't know forgot what that was.
Shah Ra.
Okay.
Who's a small skull.
You said small skull. Well, that was so funny because actually I was going to talk a little bit before we go today about the giants. The giants. These giants are coming out of Nigeria, by the way. Okay, so you're talking about these small skulls. I was going to talk about some gigantic people. We're talking about bigger than Shaq, Barry. We're talking about, I have pictures of these guys. They are head and shoulders over Shaquille O'Neal.
How weird is this that you're talking about this right now? When I just did one over black BETs, black extraterrestrials, and how the people I've talked to describe some of the ETs they've met like that. When Norman Bergen did that whole thing,
were huge.
There were black people coming on that ship. They were huge. And she said, Carrie Jackson, were they brown? No, they were black.
Oh yeah.
But I mean that's very interesting. Right now, Jessica, you and I both haven't seen Devin Pallady's new movie. I may try to watch it tonight. Okay.
I actually looked it up today, and it was like, man, it's $20. I didn't feel like I want to watch it with somebody. Like I didn't want to just watch it by myself. I'm gonna pay $20, but my son better be here. Okay.
Maybe
but
we can stream it. But I think that how much he's addressing right now, the genetics and how the mitochondrial dates back 1,500 years to south, and the nuclear is unknown in GenBank. And he was mentioning in one of the interviews he was doing, maybe the Coast to Coast AM or one of those others. He's done a few since the movie was released on the 1st, and he was saying he was talking to the gentleman that did the DNA analysis of the Paracas skulls with the elongated skulls, and they came up with the same thing: mitochondrial DNA that could be traced, but nuclear DNA that was untraceable in any gen bank. And we start dealing. I just can't help be curious: what species of extraterrestrials were they using for all these projects? I mean, aren't you curious?
Yeah.
Do they even look like hominids? Are they something else? Are they plant-based? Some of them have to be. Look at these beings, what some of them can do. It's just fascinating to me. And the more the Sasquatch things opens up, the more humbled I am by it. And the fact that Tom Powell was on that one that I sent you, that one video, he's talking a lot about how he got dogged out and kicked out of BFRO and these other things for talking about the spiritual stuff. He said, but in these reports we got, it was just constantly from different areas, these spiritual abilities. I think it's really interesting how far that Pauletti's and Scott Carpenter went with that whole genome thing.
Yeah.
And it's really fascinating. I hope that, the evidence is right there. It's just being sequestered. We're way past proving that those beings exist, but it's a human hybrid, just like the biblical things say, but then they don't want to talk about it no more and hide it.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, you're talking about the giants in Nigeria. Please keep talking. Sorry.
Well, no, we're going to talk about all this. But speaking of giants and genome stuff, I mean, we're talking about some interesting genes, maybe the Nephilim. I don't know. This is wild because look how big these guys are. Like, okay, so people that have watched my shows, I'm sure you've heard me, if you've been watching me for a while, I have mentioned, and Barry, you come from a basketball family as well. Your dad was a kind of famous basketball player, right?
Yeah, around here.
Yeah. Okay.
Before it was cool for black people to play in what we call the NBA now, he would have been the fourth end, right behind Bill Russell, I think. Yeah.
Wow. So I bet your dad's pretty tall. Everybody in your family is really tall, right?
To a point to where I've been asked if I'm a midget. 6'6", 6'5".
You're still tall.
6'3", and I'm nowhere near. I'm like the size of the women. Just a little taller than women.
Taller than me. You're taller than me, Barry. Okay, but anyways, and I'm average height, a little taller than average height, I think, for a female. But I got big feet too, unfortunately. But anyways, okay, so I ran into Shaquille O'Neal one day, literally. Like I was walking down. I was on my lunch break, and I worked in downtown Atlanta. I lived and worked in downtown Atlanta, and I was walking on my lunch break, and I had a cell phone, so it was like the early 2000s. At some point, and he was in the NBA still, and I passed by the Ritz-Carlton. It was right by my office downtown, and that's where a lot of the ball players would come, and they'd stay at that hotel, I guess, because he was sitting out there. No, I met Dominique through work stuff. Yeah, because I worked. Yeah, I met him at some event. Okay, but anyways, okay, so I'm like on my phone or I'm doing something. I'm not paying attention. I'm looking down. Okay. And I hit a brick wall, literally. Like I was walking past that hotel and I literally ran into, I knew it was a person, but it felt like a brick wall. And I looked up and I said, I kept looking and I was like, oh, I said a bad word. I said, Shaq. Oh, Shaq. And he looked up and he said, oh, ma'am, I'm so sorry. And he put his hands up and I swear to gosh, his hands were twice the size of my head. I mean, he was gigantic. I could not believe how big. It was like I literally ran into like an oak tree or something. It was wild. And he was very apologetic, like it was his fault. I was like, no, it was obviously my fault. And so it was a very brief encounter, but it was funny. We both laughed. And then I kept walking and I was like, I cannot believe my life. What just happened? Okay. But anyways, this is Shaquille O'Neal. He's a big fella. And this is him next to one of these guys. There's multiple men.
Oh, that's a ball player. I got you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Look how gigantic these guys are. Like they average 7. They're all over 7 feet tall. Barry, a giant is listed as anything over 7 feet. Okay.
See, the biggest person I had met, actually, they did a match together, Shaq and him. Paul White, aka the Big Show. That was before he was the Big Show.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Before he left and got discovered, I saw him in this liquor store and he like came up behind me and he pushed me and I like fell into the thing. I turned around. He's like, man, you didn't say, what's up, B? I was like, man, I didn't see you. And it was back in the day. I was getting a Colt 45, 40 ounce. That tells you how long ago that was,
Colt 45.
He goes, I know you were too worried about this. And just, he swapped it out of my hand and it looked like a bottle of beer in his hand. His fat fingers, the way I was.
Yeah, fingers. I know, right?
Yeah.
That's what I noticed on Shaq. I was like, his fingers were gigantic. It was mind blowing. Literally being that close, my face like ran into his belly button. Basically, is what happened, y'all. It was so embarrassing. And but you know what? There was a reason for everything.
Should have run into them nuts. No, you didn't rack them, did you?
I hope not. Oh God, no, Barry.
Sorry, I'm just kidding. Entertainment only.
This is for entertainment only. Gosh, I'm embarrassed, Barry. I ran into his belly button, I think. I don't know. It was wild. Anyways.
You know, so can you imagine what it would be like to see it? Sorry.
I can't take you anywhere, Barry.
Yeah, tell me about it. It's amazing how I got much more bright in here, too, all of a sudden. You know, can you imagine seeing a Sasquatch, though, that would dwarf those two guys? Even dwarf the people you just showed? I mean, especially when you think of, you know, and I can think of that. Those guys make me think of the ones that might have wore the armor too. Those giants that wore the armor and stuff like that.
Yeah,
really interesting, you know.
Yeah. I think it's pretty wild. They say that. Okay, let me read this. And surprising hubs for basketball, attracting players from enormous size. Everything's bigger in Dubai, I guess, y'all. I don't know. I have not been yet. But there's a long-established elite academy training some of the largest players on the planet, Barry. I thought this would be interesting for you to hear because I figured you'd be into this. Okay, because of your dad being a basketball player. But one of those players is Abiodun Adigoki. I don't know how you pronounce his name, but he was born in 1998, around 1998, 99. He's widely recognized as one of the tallest amateur basketball players alive. He's 7'11". He's almost 8 feet tall, 7'11". He's from Nigeria. He plays with Impact, MPAC, the elite. Well, you used to play with the Elite Youth League. Now he's around 20 something. He's like 26 or 27. And I don't know what size shoe he wears. He wears like a 50, they say, but that's not American term, so I have no idea. That has to be.
If that's the guy I'm thinking of, he's actually quite agile.
Is it a 50?
I think he's quite agile. If it's the guy I'm thinking of.
I've seen him dunk on somebody.
Amazingly agile for that size.
He's as big as the
the really tall Asian guy. I can't remember his name. Hung. Can't remember his name exactly, but he's real tall too. He's taller than Shaq too. You know what I'm talking about? The tall Asian guy.
Yes, I know who you're talking about, but I don't know his name.
Yeah, me neither. I can't remember.
Angelique has a good question. How does someone that large travel? Probably a private jet, I would assume. I don't know. You can't fly on American Airlines or anywhere.
You know, when you hear those wrestlers talk about what it's like to travel with Andre the Giant, they say he would drink like 50 beers or something. Like, pow, pow, pow. Yeah.
Gross.
Seriously, I've really heard that. Like 30 was some unreal number. Yeah.
Ming. Yeah. I said gross because I remember us having this conversation before, and I remember him using the tub as a toilet or something, and that's why I said gross.
What's up, William Hawk? Thank you.
Yeah. Ming. Thank you, William. Yeah, a flatbed truck. Hold on. Here it is. Usually a flatbed truck. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that might be true, though.
That would be uncomfortable in the rain. But anyways, that's wild. That's wild. Okay.
It's real interesting to see that stuff start coming back, and it can't be just explained as that hormonal thing that makes people like Paul and Andre the Giant that big. You know, I mean, another guy that got real tall. It's really interesting.
Bonnie says, come here to the Netherlands if you want to see what tall giant people. We are all 7 to 8 feet. Oh my God. I had an aunt from Holland, actually, and Miranda. I don't know if you know any Mirandas, probably, but anyways. So yeah, my aunt was from Holland. She was very tall, actually. So interesting that you said that. That's cool. I don't know. I think it's wild. Before we go today, Barry, we got to cover these giant snakes. We've got about 10 minutes.
Gosh, I forgot about that. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Man. It's all good. We got plenty of time. We got 10 minutes. That's enough to cover it.
Real quick, you want to know why I gave you that?
Why'd you give me that?
Well, I'm because of weirdo one, but good way, good way though, good way.
Well, I didn't get a target for this. You just you didn't give me it as a target.
No, it's just something we could discuss. I thought because we haven't discussed some weird cryptids in a while. Well, I guess we have, but you know what I mean. Anyway, it's I like Jeremy Wade. I think he did great work, and I like his personality and all that. Yes. He goes looking for the river monsters and all that. But he was in there was 2 episodes. One was he was in the Mediterranean, and another he was in the Amazon, and he's looking for a giant cocoa. It had a name, especially the Mediterranean. They were describing this huge snake that was even bigger than the huge anacondas, And they were taking them to places where he could maybe see a huge anaconda that looked like it would be a log on the ground or something, these huge ones. But they said this other one that was killing people that killed these fishermen. And they had a couple of deaths he was investigating in both areas. And they were saying what they were basically calling what would have been the Titanoboa. Titanoboa, I think it's pronounced. But that's the one that was found, the skeleton of it was found in caves. And, you know, it's fascinating because if people really look at it and research it, the Titanoboa and the anaconda are not the same species. They're boa, but they're not the same. The Titano is supposed to be way, way larger than even the largest anaconda. And we start looking at movies like, I was shocked to hear you say you liked that movie Anaconda. I thought it was cheesy with terrible acting. That one and the second one was even worse. There's a third one I saw on Sci-Fi. I was like, oh my Lord, David Hasselhoff was in it. I was like, man, from Knight Rider to Baywatch to chasing giant snakes. Man, he's like a heck of a career and that horrible scene. Anyway, but yeah, there you go. The Titano was supposed to be huge like that. And, you know, and he was Jeremy Wade, back to seriousness, sorry. Jeremy Wade was being steered to these places, like one where one of these shamans had told him that they had a head of one, but really it was a huge rock carving. But in this area, there was some type of a spring that made this water very warm in that part of the Amazon or wherever that lake was. And they're saying that the sightings of that Titanoboa was there most of the time, because it has to keep its body warmer for whatever reason. I just thought it was really cool and interesting to hear that being referenced as not just legend, but being responsible for several fishermen deaths. That's why he was investigating it. Yeah. So anyway, just again, it's food for thought. But I mean, as far as something like, could such snakes still exist? Or even anacondas getting to close that size? I know some of them get just huge, but I think this is taking it to another level.
Oh, gosh. Yes. Well, you know, back in 2012 and 2013, the Smithsonian Museum did an exhibit of the Titanoboa. Titanoboa is how I'm going to pronounce that. And the monster snake, I'm going to read what they wrote. It says, the startling discovery of Titanoboa was made by the team of scientists working in one of the world's most largest open pit coal mines of the Carrijon in La Guajira, Colombia. I pronounced that wrong too, I'm sure. This 2,500-pound, 48-foot-long prehistoric snake was found near fossilized plants, giant turtles, and crocodiles dating back to the Paleocene epoch, more than 68 million years ago, when the world's first known rainforest existed and dinosaurs no longer ruled the earth. And the exhibit lasted for, I don't know, several months, a couple months maybe. But 45 feet on average. I mean, there's a picture on the screen for everyone who is watching today on the video format. You can see how big that is compared to a human would be an appetizer for that thing, Barry. It'd be like a chicken wing to us.
You know, for the food for thought, you've also had some extraterrestrial species that are described as being serpent and being that huge. And that was even referenced in an episode of Doctor Who, just after Tom Baker, Peter Davison took over. So this would be about 1982. The episode was called Damara, and Kinda, and it featured this huge snake called Damara that lived within mirrors.
In
and
mirrors?
It would possess people. Yeah, it lived within mirrors. It was a huge snake like that.
Was it a black mirror? I mean, we're just connecting all the dots today.
Honestly, I can't remember. It was a weird episode, but it was called Kinda. Yeah, Doctor Who, Peter Davison, probably about 1982. But just that concept of extraterrestrial snakes, that size too, along with what we probably had just natural Terran here, like that one. Really fascinating. And so the question is, and it's one I almost have given you before as a blind target, just to see if it still existed. But I thought it'd just be cool to talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is funny. Sub-Zero says, wise to carry a machete when you fish. I don't know, or an AR or AK or something. Absolutely. Yes. You got
I could lie to you.
Shotgun.
I'm all right without having evidence, personal evidence that thing exists. I'm all right. Just like I'm all right that I'm a contactee and I've never seen a reptilian on a ship. I'm all right with that. I mean, even if it's benevolent, the fact that I've not seen a 9-foot tall bipedal crocodile is cool with me, man. I mean, I'm all right.
Exactly. This is a funny comment. I can appreciate this. Thank you, Andrew. He says, Andrew Gnomes and Trucking Express says, I remember Jeremy Wade fishing at one of the water ponds at Chernobyl, Russia. LOL.
Oh, wasn't that an interesting one?
I didn't see that one. What happened? I mean, that sounds radioactive.
You know, he's finding a lot of life there. A lot of life in the water and things like that. More than you would think that, and that was so recently you wouldn't think so. And I remember him having to take all the pills and the inoculations, whatever it was, to keep his radiation count down. He had to get out of there after a while, if I'm not mistaken. He wasn't even feeling good, maybe, I think. But that was that was a good episode. Good call on that, Andrew.
It would be no worse than eating shrimp from Walmart. Okay, just kidding. Eating some fish out of that. I know, right?
Ouch.
It's for entertainment purposes only. No, that's what they say. Remember, there was like a period a few months ago where they said, do not eat the shrimp from there. Just saying. Because it was radioactive or something. Yeah. Yeah. I swam with the gators. Thank you, Maureen. Yes, I did. I have swam with not crocodiles, gators, alligators down at Wakulla Springs.
Swam with alligators? Really?
Absolutely, I did. Yes, my mother and my dad took me, my sister, and my brother swimming with the alligators. Well, actually, we weren't supposed to be swimming with the alligators, but they were in there. Yeah. And but don't worry, there was a rope that divided where the people could swim from the alligator section. There was a rope that floated on top of the water.
That's reassuring.
Thank goodness for that rope, I tell you.
You built engines, you race cars, you do archery, and you were saying something else. One of the shows you were doing, listen, I didn't know about it. It was something else. I didn't think, like, man, are you like a kind of female James Bond? They got a superhero named Jessica Jones. Are you like her?
I mean, I would never tell you if I was. I would never. They may have based that character off me. I'm just kidding.
Hung out with Dominique Wilkins, running into Shaq's.
I ran into Shaq's belly button.
At the lower belly level.
It was upper belly level. Okay. I'm taller than that, Barry. Now, if I had been short, it would have been a different story. Okay. Golly.
Could have castrated him on accident.
Oh, Lord.
I was just teasing you there.
Like I said, I can't take you anywhere. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And, down there in the South, where it's hotter where you are, I would be surprised. I would just like to hear you, like, what all accounts of large serpents like that or anacondas, even that's not anaconda, but just in that realm, you know what I mean, are there down there by where you live? Because I'll tell you, those swamps down there are deep, and I think they're creepy. No offense.
Yeah, well, Florida has a terrible snake problem. Okay, and lots of snakes. They have like boa and anaconda, like those hunting seasons. Like you can go down there, and they have TV shows about it now.
I watched one where the guys go pick them up. Or go like the animal control or whatever, snake control.
Oh my God. I mean, I've seen where people are, you'd think that they know what they're doing, but like I saw one woman bend down and pick up a copperhead or a rattlesnake one day. She thought it was a boa. I don't know how you couldn't tell the difference personally. If I'm going to be out there picking up snakes, I need to know what kind of snake I'm picking up. And she got bit by a highly poisonous snake. It might've been a copperhead, but just don't pick up wild snakes, y'all. You don't know what you're doing.
This takes us into the question too of when looking at the Nagas, how big were they? Were any Nagas described being that size or bigger? I don't really know. I'm not an expert on them, but it's worth investigating,
I would assume they're pretty big. Here, I'm going to type it in.
I know I've seen all sorts of different depictions and caricatures of Nagas, but I know that they were serpents.
Yes. Well, okay, hold on. I remember reading about an 8-headed snake somewhere today. Hold on.
Hydra.
Maybe I don't know.
There's an episode of like the second Star Trek generation. The Q being shows up, and he's pretending to be an Aldebaran serpent. Looks like this cobra with 3 heads attached to this crystal ball. It was kind of cool. Just food for thought. No, sorry.
That's pretty
Geeking
cool.
out over here.
Man. Yeah, here's some ancient, Nagas here. I mean, we've actually talked about this in the past, Barry, a long time ago. We talked about the possibility of the Nagas being like reptilians and, living in the underworld and stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't know. We say underworld, but from this Japanese imperial family, their ancestor didn't come from the underworld like in a cave. They came from the ocean underworld. Okay. They came from the sea. All right. Is that where a lot of these reptilians are hanging out today, or is in the ocean?
Well, that's the perfect place to avoid some of the cataclysms on this planet that happen on the surface, to avoid the surface population for a very long time. We still can't hardly get down there beyond Phil Snyder type of stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So that's the ultimate way. And also, when you start dealing within the dimensional forces of the earth like that, you start dealing with other frequencies and other vibrations that beings are coming to and from. You know what I mean? And I think that's just now being really realized. Like, for example, that age-old question we've always had, where do Sasquatch go when they're not around? There is some type of an inner earth subterranean factor that's not being acknowledged.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot we don't know these days, but I don't know.
That's interesting.
Yes. Moondog says there's a Naga in Fiji.
Moondog, were they supposed to actually have been that size too? So it represents them in actual size in life?
100 foot long, sitting on a pile of gold.
That's
here we have leprechauns sitting on our gold. Just kidding.
What's the little dude? Give me gold. I was watching one the other day who was in the hood. He's going around partying with brothers, man.
No, that's the Crichton leprechaun. That's my favorite leprechaun of all time. He might be a crackhead. That's what that lady said.
He's going to get blown with this brother smoking a ball. Yeah. The brother went to get his lighter, and one of the pieces of gold fell out. He's like, where'd you get that?
Everybody wants to see the leprechaun say, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Man.
That's the best cryptid that came out of, I don't know, Mobile has a lot of good cryptids, like the Mobile wolf woman, but I like the Crichton leprechaun the best, I think. Okay, so go ahead. Sorry, that's what you're talking about. Yeah. This has been a fun show, Barry. This is awesome.
Thanks for having me on, man. I think it was good. We covered all the topics and everything. And again, I want to say, if you're somebody that think you might be targeted, try to maybe get a pool together of people and see if you can get one of those scans. Check out MindNexus. It's at mindnexus.com. I can't remember the exact website off mine, but called MindNexus. And I like to see people that are being targeted to really get scanned and fight back. This is going to end up in the court against the people that are targeting and doing that. Because, Jessica, what if they try to switch us all on when the 6G comes or whatever? That's scary stuff. That's real Matrix stuff. It's not. And when you see that video, everybody, please watch it. It's not just talk. Okay, it's real. You can scientifically look up the data they're given, the experiments they're doing. It's real.
Mm-hmm. How do we know we haven't already been switched on? Just saying.
Well, I don't think so. Not yet. Thank God. But
hey, you know what? It's a good time to get some copper-based paint. Paint your house. Okay. Get some copper-based paint for Christmas, y'all. That's all I want for Christmas.
They've got these drops that are called, like, they talk about them on that video, Mastercraft or Master, something like they're calling it, and like 15 drops a day, and it actually starts dissolving these biosensors and these biosemi self-assembling technology we have in us. So stuff like that it's really interesting. They actually show the scientific scans of somebody that used that for so many days, how they start no longer scanning on the nonlinear junction detection technology, scanning positive for emitting radio frequencies and these biosensors and stuff. You're removing that stuff, and you start tracing that stuff back to its origin. You can see these companies that are messing with people. Wow. It's a trip.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
It is. Well, it's the number one step, I guess, is just to be aware of it. Okay. And I think a lot of us, everybody watching my shows and your shows are aware of a lot of this stuff already. So yeah, just be aware, do what you can to detox on the heavy metals and parasites, whatever. This is for entertainment purposes only. I am not any kind of doctor or anything. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. But nonetheless, just take care of yourselves, everybody. And keep your vibrations high. I think that's important. You know, try to keep your vibrational frequency high is what I mean. Like try to just exude some love out there. Okay. And look for dragons that are guarding the gold. Thank you. William Nighthawk said that dragons do guard the gold, he said as well. So the Nagas could be dragons actually. So
if it's Solomon's Island, you got huge
yeah.
Sasquatch guarding it, right?
Yeah,
Giants.
well, there's a connection between gold mines and Sasquatch as well. So we have definitely talked about in the past. But anyways, this has been a great show. Oh my gosh, Barry, where can everybody find you?
On YouTube. I'm on YouTube. I do a lot of stuff on there under Barry Littleton. I'm also on Patreon, Barry Littleton, Instagram, Barry Littleton, and I do a lot of stuff, a lot of posts on Facebook sometimes. All Barry Littleton, no cool handles or nothing. So.
Awesome. Yeah, y'all go over there and subscribe to his Patreon and his YouTube channel, please. Okay. And Barry, you going to go live this weekend? Barry's been going live.
I probably will. I don't know exactly about what yet. There are a few things I thought I missed on the last live, and I incorporated a lot of our work into that too because it was very prevalent when it comes to different melanin dominant species and some of what you've seen. And you know what I forgot to mention? You looked at oh, not Trappist one. That's how Seti. Oh Lord, no. Alpha Centauri. Sorry, jeez.
Alpha Centauri.
Alpha Centauri. You looked at the exoplanet there. Remember? And I
guess I'm a space traveler.
I forgot to mention that Dr. Blair said he had met melanin dominant beings from Alpha Centauri at a conference.
Wow.
That's one of the reasons I gave you that target. And you saw some cities there. You saw some life there. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. It was in the data. Yes. I forgot to mention that the other night.
That's awesome. Well, speaking of data, I will have another show tomorrow night, y'all. Come back here and see 8 p.m. Eastern with a remote viewing show. I will be announcing that topic either tonight or tomorrow before the show. So thank you so much for being here today, everybody. And to all my moderators, thank y'all so much. And Barry, especially, thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me. It was fun. It was totally unexpected, but it was fun.
I know we covered a lot of stuff today, y'all. And so please, if you enjoyed the video, please put a like under the video today and share it out and also hype it up. You know, you can like hype videos now or something. So just give me some hype points, y'all. If you like the video today, and it helps get it in the algorithm and it pushes the show out a little bit so more people can watch it and learn. Okay. And get some good laughs. Okay, y'all. Y'all, please stay safe out there. I'm sending all my love and light out to everybody. Keep your vibrations high, as Jane always says. And I'll see you guys back here on tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. All right, Barry, have a good day. We'll see y'all soon. Bye.